Hi guys, Ray here from City Fan TV. Hope you're all doing very well indeed. I'm still here in Northern Ireland, finished work for the day, and I'm here at an outlet mall. Very few outlet malls in Northern Ireland. It's a place called the Boulevard, and it's near a town called Banbridge, which I don't think is too far from the Republic of Ireland. Anyway, that's where I am today. I'd like to be talking about how we are anticipating Erling Haaland winning the Ballon d'Or. But we know, guys, that's a stitch-up. That ain't happening. I mean, the fella's won Premier League, FA Cup, Champions League, scored, 52 goals last season, and he's not going to win it. Messi's going to win it for doing nothing for PSG. Really didn't really shine in the French League. I mean, what's the French League anyway? Farmers League. And winning the World Cup. Well, I think what Erling Haaland has achieved at Manchester City last season far outweighs what Messi has achieved throughout the season. And it's basically that he's getting it for a sympathy vote for what he's done for Argentina. So that's pretty poor. But hey, we know what it is. It is what it is, and it's very, very well rigged. So instead, I'm going to focus on the Club World Cup. Now, the draw was made yesterday, and here we go. So City will play the winners of Club Leon from Mexico and Uruhara Reds, I can't even say it, from Japan. So the winner of that match will play Manchester City, on the 19th of December at 9 p.m. And if City win that, they'll be in the final, which is only 3 days later on the 22nd of December, once again at 9 p.m. Now, it's going to be a very packed December if we get through the Carabao Cup and get into the quarterfinals, because it's a lot of games in a short space of time. Basically, the Brentford game, which was I think the weekend of the 22nd, that's been postponed, obviously, for this, because we just can't get there and back and everything else in time. So the games that we've got leading up to the Club World Cup, I think we've got Red Star Belgrade. I think that's away the week before, and then we've got Crystal Palace the weekend before we come here, go to the Club World Cup. Then you got the Club World Cup, and then on the 26th of December, there's a game. Was it Everton? I can't remember now. There's a game on the 26th. So we got 4 days after the Club World Cup before our next game. I mean, that's assuming we get to the final. We might get knocked out. So that wouldn't be good if we get knocked out. So there's a lot of games, and the Carabao Cup quarterfinal is scheduled for that week, that same week. It's impossible. It's impossible, obviously, to be in two places at one time. If we are in the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup, that'll be, I guess, about the 19th or the 20th of December. Well, 18th or the 19th, we've got the semi-final of the Club World Cup. So when are you going to fit that in? And to be honest, the thing is, if the Football League don't put that off, if we're through to the quarterfinals, if they don't put that on until January, we should basically put 16-year-olds out, or we should not bother entering a team for next season's Carabao Cup, see how they like it then. They've got to be reasonable with City. They weren't reasonable with Liverpool, but they should be reasonable with City, because it's just not fair. It's just not on. And I think, as I said, if they expect us to field two teams within the space of a day, we should just say, def this, put the 16-year-old kids out, EDS, whatever, and next year, just take the mick out of them, and just either not enter it and not take part, or just put kids in under 16s again. If they don't want to take it seriously for a club like City getting to the quarterfinals, then we shouldn't take it seriously either. And I wonder who's going to suffer more. It's not going to hurt us, We could do with with fewer games. If we end up this season playing 65, 66 games, it's crazy. We could do with fewer games. So, EFL, Football League, sort yourselves out. And if we're through, let's assume we get past Newcastle, if we're through to the quarterfinals, make sure that we have a break. Whether you put it in January, I don't care. Find a space that doesn't affect our Club World Cup ambitions. The other thing to consider as well, that weekend before we go, we've got Crystal Palace. Now, the Premier League need to do the right thing as well. If we're playing on the Wednesday, I think we're playing the Wednesday against Red Star Belgrade away from home, okay? The problem we've got is, if they... So that's whatever the date is, the 10th or whatever. The weekend, the Crystal Palace, I think that's on the 6th, is it 16th? I think 16th, that weekend. How can you play on the Saturday? You need a break. So if you played away in Red Star in Belgrade on the Wednesday, then playing on Saturday? What if the BT, or well, not BT, it'll be Sky, say we want it on the Sunday? What if they want it on the Sunday? Which would be, if I'm right, about the 20th? That's ridiculous. Can't do it. Whatever the dates are, you can't do it at the weekend. It's just, if you can't do it on a Sunday, it's just not going to work. It's ridiculous. So, because it'd be giving us no time. Even on a Saturday, everything's bunched together. Now, we might be fortunate enough that we'll have qualified for the next stage of the Champions League, the knockout stages by then. I hope, hopefully we have, with the group that we've got. But, Sky could be scoundrels to us and, schedule that game on the Sunday, the league game. Then what do? How do you get around this? You have to give up something. And it might be that we say we go into the semi-finals of the Club World Cup with a weakened team and then bring the big boys out for the final if we get there. But it's not on in my book. We shouldn't be forced to be doing all this. It's quite frankly, it's ridiculous. Because City want to win this. Don't get me wrong. It's not a competition that we're just going to not take seriously. Pep takes pretty much everything seriously. It's a competition we want to win because no English team would have won. I think this will be unprecedented in the same calendar year. FA Cup, League, Champions League, Super Cup and the Club World Cup. Go and ask Liverpool. They did it. They won, but they never won the league that same season. As Chelsea, they didn't. They won the Champions League and the Club World Cup. They didn't win the league and the FA Cup and whatever. So this would be, I think. I'm not going to go back through the annals of history and check, but I think it would be unprecedented if City can add the Club World Cup to the trophies we've already got this year. It would be awesome. It would be fantastic. I'm not sure how many fans are actually going to go because obviously it's in Saudi Arabia. Now, there are some diehard fans who will go to games regardless. They will just keep going to games. Wherever they are, they go to every game, home or away. So some of them will go. Would some of the youngsters go? I think I was joking with Bernard a few weeks ago that, he said some of the youngsters might not go because of, if you're not going to get any drinks there, what they're going for, drinks and drugs get you in trouble. You misbehave there, you could be in serious trouble in Saudi Arabia. So, some of the kids, some of the younger fans, their behaviour that I've witnessed myself at away, especially away grounds, they'd be getting themselves into a very big spot of bother in Saudi Arabia, and I don't think they'll take any prisoners. Yes, they want these big sporting events in their country. Yes, they want tourism and everything else, but I think there's a line, and if you go across that line, you could be asking for trouble. I'm going to try and make it. I'm going to try and get there for the semi-finals and discussing that with the missus. We were already talking about, I was trying to get there for the final, and I'm just thinking if that semi-final, if we can get out for that, that would be fantastic as well. So I'm going to look at those dates and see if we can go out as a family. Take the kids, watch that semi-final, and if we get there, watch that final. We'll have to work out this school stuff, because I think school finishes on the Friday and the semi-finals before the Friday. So we'll see how that pans out. But anyway, City are there. It's, as I said, it's competition we've not won. It's going to get hard. I think it could potentially get hard. It will get harder to win it. This is the last time it's under the current format, where there's only a few teams, where we've only got a couple of games to get there. I think next year? Is it 32 teams? It's just obviously a money spinner. They don't care about players. It's all about making money. That's what FIFA and UEFA are about. So next time it'll be much more difficult. There'll be more teams from Europe. We're the only team from Europe. So if you've got, I don't know what it is next time. I'm not really gone into too much detail. But if there's 2, 3, 4 teams from Europe, it's going to make it much more difficult to win, because the European teams are, quite frankly, quite honestly, the best in the world. They should be. So City should be winning this. Maybe in the future, Saudi teams will get stronger, as you can see the players they're getting. So they might pose a bigger threat. But right now, it should be a European club winning the Club World Cup. But as I said, once you've got more than one team there, you see with the Champions League, it's made it much more difficult to win, because it's a cup competition. And if you qualified before under the old system, where it was the winners and of the European Cup and all the winners of their respective leagues, it's easier to win the Champions League when you've got 4 top teams from England, 4 top teams from Germany, 4 top teams from Spain, top team from France and Italy. Obviously, it makes it much more of a tougher competition to win. So, and this is actually before the Champions League expands into loads more teams, loads more games, before the Club World Cup expands into loads more teams, loads more games. It's crazy. There's too much football as it is. We've already got 66. If we get through to the final of everything, 65 or 66 games in a season. If you increase the Champions League by 4 games, you get into 70 games. Club World Cup, increase it by a couple, you could be 72 games. And then there's all the international games as well. Players could potentially have over 80 games. Now, they obviously be rested for a reasonable amount, but with internationals, you could have 80 games a season. That's ridiculous. Hopefully something will be done about it at some point soon, but I'm not holding my breath. Let's finish off this stream with a little walk as I going down to my aim here is to have a look at Adidas. That's where I'm going shopping. Anyway, guys, as I finish the stream, City straight away into semi-finals of the Club World Cup on the 19th of December. We win that. We play in the final on the 22nd. This is all in Saudi Arabia. Get your tickets. I think there'll be plenty of tickets available for this. You get some of those fans from foreign parts who will be popping over to Saudi Arabia to go and watch that, because I think a lot of the fans based, from around Manchester, they won't be going to this. So there should be a few tickets knocking about if you want to go and have a look at this. Right, guys, end of the video. And here's the part where we ask, if you're new to the channel, it would be fantastic if you could subscribe. We've had a phenomenal rise in subscribers over the summer. I think we go back to June, when we won the Champions League, we were about 1,800 to 2,000 subscribers. Now we're about 6,500. So in the space of less than 3 months, we've gone up by nearly 5,000 subscribers. It's trebled our subscriber base. That's absolutely brilliant, and thank you to everybody for subscribing, commenting, and making me want to make more videos. But if you are new, if you can subscribe, that'd be great. If you hit that bell icon, you'll be notified as soon as new videos come out. We'll see you around the leaves.